This segment of CoastLife is sponsored by the Parker Group.
CoastLife, you know we love to stay ahead of the curve when it comes to all things real estate by chatting with our friends at the Parker Group. We've got James Riddle joining us on the CoastLife couch today, Business Development Manager with the Parker Group. And we've talked about Archie with Rachel and Dustin before, but you've sort of directly benefited from Archie and what it does. So kind of break down the program one more time for our viewers in case they're not caught up on Archie and what it does.
Yeah, absolutely. So my wife Grace and I were the first clients to utilize the Archie transaction model. And so what that looks like is, you know, we were in a special situation, as you're familiar. My wife was about 8 months pregnant, and we weren't loving the house that we were in, but weren't sure where we were going, and the perfect house came on the market. And so the only option for us really was Archie, which kind of came out of nowhere for us. We weren't expecting it. But it allowed us to benefit with 80% of our home's value upfront as soon as we moved out. We knew that in advance, and were able to coordinate and make a non-contingent offer on the house we wanted before, you know, actually selling our home. And then 36 days later, I think it was, the other house sold and we got a second check.
Nice.
and we were able to move in well in advance of Juliet being born. So.
Yeah, I mean, I have to imagine that took a lot of the stress off of what could have been an extremely stressful situation, and I'm sure was becoming an increasingly stressful situation where
absolutely
you've got two properties, a baby on the way, you can't, you know, make a move until something else falls into place. So, I mean, how relieved were you guys when Archie really became an option?
Honestly, there aren't words for that feeling because it's not something that I thought that I would have.
Sure.
It really was just relief. And, you know, for me as a husband, you know, my wife's relief was the most beneficial part for me. She was just able to focus on, you know, prepping the rest of our lives for having our first baby.
Yeah, and I mean, I think as somebody, you know, in the real estate industry, how does having an option like this really change the game?
Yeah, well, it really does, because there's so many sellers who are in a unique position, whether it's like the one we were in or, you know, something completely different, you know, whether they're relocating for a job or, you know, military members who are being relocated, just don't want to deal with the traditional stress of showings and keeping the house clean and, you know, doing all this, that, and the other. It allows them to access the equity that they have locked up in the house, because so many Americans have a just ton of equity in their house that they can't access easily. So it allows them to access that and then move on with their life while we handle the stressful part, really. And then they benefit, you know, when it sells, they still share significantly in the profits.
Checks. That's a pretty good deal.
Exactly.
What else is a pretty good deal? You guys have an event coming up. Tell us a little bit about what's coming down the line.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've kind of focused today on, you know, how Archie helps homeowners, but we also partner with real estate agents, because real estate agents are critical. They are the knowledge broker. They know their clients. They know their situation. And so we partner directly with agents to facilitate transactions. And we offer a pretty competitive commission rate for agents who, you know, refer clients to us. All they have to do is just introduce us to the client, and then they're able to move right on and focus on the rest of their business. But we're actually having on Thursday, the 29th, an event over at Crooked Hammock in Lewis from 4 to 6 that's specifically for agents.
This event is for real estate agents in the area. It doesn't necessarily matter who they're with or who they're representing.
Not at all.
Fantastic.
We work with everyone.
Yeah, and I mean, I know you guys are also going to have a lot of fun, because nobody parties quite like these guys do. So any other things going on with that event that people can look forward to?
Well, we have this one coming up, you know, like I said, on the 29th, and then down the road, we're planning on having one also in Kent County, the exact details of which are to be determined, but stay tuned.
I'm sure we'll chat with you when they have been determined.
Yeah.
Well, James, thank you so much for coming in today and chatting with us about Archie and how it's, you know, benefited you and your family personally, but also how I think this is really going to be a huge step in the world of real estate and change a lot of lives.
Absolutely. We feel the same way. Thanks so much.
Well, thanks again for being here. Coming up, we have some more CoastLife, more fun to get to, so stay right there.